Boys and girls, let's stand for our class today. I want you to warm up your fingers. Warm them up here. Warm them up down here. The sides. Up again. Great job. Let's sing our song for today. I'm a friendly snowplow, big and fat. Here is my tummy, here is my hat. When the weather's cold, I'm strong and tall. But when it's warm, I get very small. Let's see if we can do it again, but even louder, and let's do the motions. I'm a friendly snowplow, big and fat. Here is my tummy, here is my hat. When the weather's cold, I'm strong and tall. But when it's warm, I get very small. Great job, you may be seated. Now that we are ready and prepared for our penmanship class today, I want you to look up to my board. As you can see, I have two beautiful trees up here, and these two trees are properly spaced out. I'm going to be looking on your paper today to see if you have proper space between your letters and your words. Just like these trees, if they were too close together, they would not be able to grow properly. Just like our letters and words, if they are too close together, we're not going to be able to read them. So let's make sure to have proper spacing. Right here between my trees, you can see that I have a beautiful house and tons of snowflakes right next to them. Raise your hand if it snows where you live. Yeah, so only two of you. Back home where I live, it snows a lot more during January. But I want to tell you a story. About 5 years ago, it snowed on my house so hard on Thanksgiving Day, and all of my family members were there with me too. And they couldn't leave our house because there was a big hill and it had snowed so much that they couldn't leave. So they actually stayed the night, 2 nights. And when we got up the next morning, we ate breakfast and we went down to the park where there was a huge hill, and we slid down that hill many, many times, and I still remember that. It was so much fun. So if you are working very hard on your spacing today, you are going to be able to come up and take one of my snowflakes. Let's make sure to have proper spacing. Today we are going to learn a new connection. It's going to be our letter B and our letter R. Now we already know how these letters are written. For our B, let's remember that it ends in a wave. How does our B end, Becca?
In a wave.
Great job. And for our letter R, how does our letter R begin, Holly?
It's on the pink carpet.
Yes, and it slants up to the dotted line. So it starts on the pink carpet.
And it's up to the dotted line.
Great job. So you're probably asking, how are we going to connect the B and the R if the wave and the carpet are in two different places? Well, I'm going to give you a memory clue today on how to connect these two words. So as you can see on my board, I have it already written down, and I want you to see how I am writing it so that you can be able to write it as well. So we're going to trace over our letter B. And once we have that, we usually do our wave, but for this one, we are going to extend it even further and continue to write our letter R. This wave is much bigger than how our usual B wave is written. And this wave reminds me as one of the waves that Jesus and the disciples probably went on when they were on the same boat together. They were probably very scared because it was such a huge storm, and when there's a storm, there's huge waves gushing around this boat. And so when we are writing our BR connection, let's remember to make this wave like a storm wave, and we're going to extend it even further than we usually do. So watch as I write it one last time. So we're going to make our B, and then we're going to extend our wave and continue to retrace as we make our R. Now I think that you can do this. I'm going to have row 2 come up to the chalkboard, and the rest of us, we are going to do it in the air. So let's do our BR connection in the air. Let's remember, girls on the chalkboard and here, to have proper spacing even in the air. So let's begin. B P. I want to see you're doing the proper spacing, proper connections. Jasmine, you are doing very well. Come up to my board and grab a snowflake. Great job. Let's go over and see how they did on our writing here. So for this one, we have to have this even. So our R has to start even lower. But good try on this one. Let's work on that. And for this one looks much better. We have to make sure to have a straight line here. So this is very good. Let's continue to make a straight line. Let's work on that. Now that we know how to write our BR connection, I want to see if you can find it in a word. Read our first word for me, Megan.
Bring.
Bring. And do you see our connection in this word?
In the very beginning.
In the very beginning. Good job. Let's pull out our index cards and write them down. Write our word bring. Great job. Looks like you wrote that word very well. Now for our second word, can you read this word, Holly?
Bread.
Yes, and where is our connection, Abby? There we go.
At the beginning.
Great job. Let's see if you can write this word on your index card. Looks like you know how to do our connection even in a word. I am very proud of you. I'm going to show you a different word. I'm going to tell you about a different word that also has our connection, and that is the name Abraham. Abraham has it right after the letter A. Did you know that Abraham was a person in the Bible? And God promised him that he would multiply his descendants more than the stars. Now, you have probably tried to count the stars at night. I know I have. But there's even stars that we can't even see. And that's what God meant when he promises to Abraham. He would have so many descendants. Descendants are his kids and then their kids. And he would have so many descendants that he wouldn't even know how many he had. That is an amazing promise. And God promises that he is always with us. Just like Jesus was in the boat with the disciples, God is with us every single day, and we do not have to fear. Now that we know how to do our connection, let's see if we can do it on our worksheet. So if you pull out your worksheets, we're going to be on page 100, so the one with the sequel on it. And can you read the instructions on the first one, Megan?
Warm up.
So we're going to start with our warm-up, and you're just going to do the first line. So it's just going to be a series of E's. Okay, once we are done with our warm-up, what two letters do we see on our first sentence here, Katie?
E-A.
Let's copy that sentence down on our first line. Let's begin with that one. Let's remember to have our 4 P's in our worksheets. proper pace, posture, pencil position, and paper position. So you're all doing very well with that. I'm very impressed. If you have finished with that one, look up here. We're going to begin with our second line. Can you read the 3 words on our second line, Abigail?
Beach, leaf, and heat.
And do you see our connection on there?
Yes.
Good job. Oh, yes, we don't see it on there. Let's write those 3 words on our second line. Okay, when you are done, I want you to look up here. We're going to work on our third and final line. Can you read our 2 words on there, Becca?
Head, bread.
And do you see our connection on there?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's on what word?
Bread.
Yeah, and we actually already wrote that one. We're going to write it again. I want to see if you know how to do it. So let's continue with our third line. When you are done, your eyes up here. Okay, even if you're not done, look up here. We have learned our BR connection. Can you remind me of our BR connection, Katie? What is the clue word that we remember?
I don't remember.
Can you help her out, Megan? So it's big. It's big like a storm, so it's bigger. What is it, Megan?
Big.
Like a storm, right? What is it, Katie? So stormy, right? Stormy, right?
Big like the storm.
Yeah. Let's prepare for science.